Well, hey everyone, and welcome. I'm your friend Art of Mana, and let's dive into this 568th stream. Ooh, and hello there, Twitchy Berry. Just testing out a little something different here. This is my no cam chatting screen. So I've been tweaking some things. I mentioned this, I think, in the last stream, but it feels like it's been a long time since we actually hung out. Anyway, this is designed really just to allow for me to pause if I need to go get water or whatnot. It's a different way of me using essentially a standby screen. So this is my standard standby screen, and this is my standard chatting screen. And I realized one thing that I always wanted to do, and that was to add the chat so that you could actually see what was being said in the chat. You know, if I step away, that allows for something to happen. You know, people can say things, people can add content to the stream, and it's more interactive. And that's really what I wanted to do. So that's what this is. And actually, I'm going to use it right away because I ended up not really intending to show this off first thing. Actually, I need to go and refill my water. I sort of lost track of time as I was setting up all my scenes. So Twitchy Berry, if you wouldn't mind just, sharing some whatever you want, just some words of wisdom, some jokes, some dad jokes, some comments about the weather, whatever you'd like, that would be super. And I will be right back. Okay, Twitchy Berry, you are an all-star. Thank you so much for filling the void there, as it were. Yeah, slow night. I guess maybe some people are resting. I'm kind of feeling a little, I wouldn't say under the weather, but I also wouldn't say super healthy. Just kind of feeling a little bleh. So I'm going to reach over here for this controller. And I suppose here let's let's do a quick face reveal hello kind of thing. So we can do that real quick. Like so, boom. How did that happen? So I ended up getting some water and splashing some water on my face as well, which was good. Just needed to wake up a little bit. It's getting a little bit late, 8:30 rolls around and it feels like 9:30 still. So I think you can see it in my eyes a little bit. Anyway, boy, that actually leads into a couple of updates I want to share before we get going into the game. And Twitchy Bear, I guess you'll be the sole beneficiary of the update. I'm thinking about, I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that I'm going to get this job I applied for. It was a library position. I really don't know. I feel equal parts optimistic and pessimistic. I'm nervous because the more I think about it, the more I kind of want it. And I think I need to reach out to them because I only just realized in talking to Ms. Mana as I was going and getting water just a few moments ago that actually it might work great. It's only about 30 hours a week. And if I were to do that and then find streaming to be sustainable in terms of some income and potentially some other work as well, then maybe actually I might have a setup that would really work well into the future. And one of the best things was we were talking about the idea of me streaming earlier, which is a topic I want to talk with you about. We also talked about what days that would work, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. If I'm working that library schedule, I actually would be able to have days off where I could spend time with Mana Sprout and spend the whole day taking some of the burden off of our family who watch her, but also getting time to be with her. And then, maybe doing earlier streams on occasion and that sort of thing. And I just feel like, it would really fit well. The biggest concern, of course, is money, but actually the salary, or it is hourly, but the wages are actually better than what I currently get. So, or at least starting, it would be equal. They haven't said what I would get, but I might reach out to them. I'm hoping that I would be able to make that work. It would mean tightening the old belt a little bit, and certainly it would mean a decrease in spending on the hobby of gaming. But, time with family and maybe some more time streaming, maybe doing earlier streams. So I was going to ask, what would you think if I did something where maybe once a week, in addition to the Saturday stream, or instead of, I could do an earlier day stream? And then what if I actually had my streams bumped up 1 to 2 hours on a regular basis? That 8:30 p.m. Sleepy Mana stream, what if that was instead a 6:30 or a 7:30 p.m. Pacific time Sleepy Mana stream? Something to think about. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really put too much thought into it, but I really would love to know if people would find that helpful. And, what about different days, all sorts of things. I mean, there's just a lot. There's maybe too much to think about, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. Twitchy Berry says, I've been eavesdropping on the USA election. Interesting system. It's interesting. It is also sometimes more complicated than it should be, seemingly. And so, yeah. What can I say about that? But we have Chrono coming on in. Thank you so much, Chrono. Chrono just being sucked into a wormhole. We'll wait and see what Chrono has to say in a moment. I'm also going to just do a quick thing here. I want to look and see if I maybe had this issue earlier. I accidentally hit live before I had updated my stream resources. Let's see if I actually have a 20-second clip on my channel or not. And nope, I am broadcasting. No, we look good. Sweet. If you stop the stream short shortly after you go live, it won't save it on Twitch, which is great. That's what I wanted. It was only about 10 to 20 seconds. Not there. We're good. I'm seeing the last stream as Halloween and the current stream today, a broadcast. Well, I guess 4 days. Yeah, I guess that does seem like a long time since we missed yesterday. Is that right? We're 4 days out from our last stream, which is significant, actually. So anyway, I want to play a little bit of Spelunky 2 tonight and just relax with that and not stress too much. Let's go ahead and let's snap our fingers and go to that. So 3, 2, 1, boom, and there we go. Here we have Spelunky, and let's just dive in and chat. I am a sloth today. That's another change I wanted to ask your thoughts on, and that is I am actually using I'm streaming in 720p. And my thought was, I changed it from 1080p to 720p when I was streaming Splatoon 2. That game really requires it, because otherwise you wouldn't have as high a bit rate. I have a relatively high bit rate at the moment, but with that 720p 30 frames per second, it doesn't really impact the stream, the CPU usage as much as it would otherwise. So I'm kind of curious to know if people think that is a good way to do it or not. I don't know. I like the nice and crispy, clean. I don't actually like the word crispy. Well, I thought I had triggered that trap. That's how out of it I am. Well, there we go. So I like that. I don't like the word crispy, but let's use the word instead smooth and clear. 1080p, but 720 is a little bit better. Well, that was terrible. A skeleton ripped me apart. Ouch indeed, Chrono. Chrono walks into chat, breaks a pot that had a spider. The spider bites him and knocks him into some spikes. Yep, this is Spelunky. Perfect timing with that. Chrono, how are you doing? Speaking of spikes, we got to be careful here. Boom, triggered that trap. Let's see if we can't do a little better. This is only the second time. Yes, the second time, I believe, or third, depending on my memory, that I've played Spelunky. So, I really don't know, much about this. I've only gotten to the second area so far in Spelunky 2. So who knows what we will find. Let's grab a pot, though, while we're at it, so that we can be ready for the next area. There tends to be a lot of issues going into this next area. Now, I have heard that they have altered the game a little bit, making it a little easier for people, which is excellent news. It did seem almost too difficult in the early levels. So it sounds like it got... Oh. And I keep forgetting that those actually do damage. They seem like they should only knock you back, but oops. Anyway, hey Namthor, hello, welcome on in. Good to see you, Namthor. What is up? Whew. I don't actually know why we did that, but we did and somehow survived, so that's cool. We could do this. And, sadly that doesn't do a whole heck of a lot for us. But, yeah. What's up, Namthor says. Well, what isn't? Okay, let's chuck that over there. And there we go. What do we have here? A crossbow. We could buy more bomb. No, we can't. A power pack. I don't know what a power pack does, but it looks cool. There's a pug over there. All right, we're gonna try a few things. We can't do that unless we have the key, but the key is over here. Let's do this. There we go. We'll grab that key. And we'll go down here. Donnie! How you doing, Donnie? Oh my goodness, my friend. It's so good to see you. I am I'm getting schooled in Splunky 2, exactly. Oh, apparently this is not what the key is for, but we could just we could just do this for a little bit, which is let's be real, it's pretty awesome actually. The gold key is actually not going to work in that door, Donnie says. Donnie, why do you have to dash my hopes and dreams? Yeah, this is only, I think, the second time I've played Spelunky 2. I was just mentioning, so, you know, bear with me, everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. But I needed some just comfort food gaming. This is what I've said before. Donnie, I like the emotes there. Do I still have those? Am I still subscribed to you? I hope I am. Oh, shucks. Okay, I'm going to have to rectify that later. I do not have those. But I do have a Jam Dog rip that I can throw in there. There we go. That's the closest I can go. That's supporting the awesome Jam Doggy. But I do love, Donnie, your emotes. And you. So, you know, there's that. You're just a weekly streamer, so it's quite easy to miss my streams. Well, yeah, it's... right now, it's easy for me to miss a lot of streams, regardless of time or frequency. I was mentioning earlier that well, so first of all, I've only played this game the time that I streamed. So weird. So I actually am pretty far behind in terms of, you know, skill level and understanding of the mechanics of Spelunky 2 versus Spelunky 1. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that I was interviewed for this position at a library. I'm really hopeful because it's really exciting. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I want this to happen. And I was just talking about how it could allow me to change my schedule and maybe even my approach to streaming. So, yeah, okay, Chrono asks, so yeah, how was the interview? Which, by the way, I want to show this off for a couple of you who are just showing up. I have a new pausing and chatting screen. There's a lot of words that all sound similar. Anyway, a chatting with chat scene. Boom. Got it. Nailed it first try. That's it right here. So if I ever wanted to step away, which I actually did with Twitchy Berry, thanks again. I can just put this up and then, as opposed to what I used to do, which is I would use this, which still will have its purpose, I think, especially if there are a lot of new people in chat and things like that. I can throw that up. And then, you know, I could also put this up if I'm chatting and whatnot like we are now. But I like this because if I want to step away and allow people to communicate and talk a little bit, and I trust that, you know, the people here are going to do a good job of being appropriate, I can leave this up. And then there's content that you're adding to the stream while I'm stepping away if I need to. So that's just a little aside. I was working on that before the stream. So Twitchy Berry knows all these things, is probably going to sigh as I go through and rehash on this stuff. But Donnie says, that's sick. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, I've been going through all of my scenes individually in OBS. I've been clearing things out. I've been adjusting things. I've been tweaking settings. Right now I'm streaming in 720p, hoping that people will have an easier time of streaming the feed, especially now in this time of COVID. After I used it downscaled to 720p for Spelunky 2, or excuse me, Splatoon 2, I thought I'd leave it for this for a while to see if maybe people can stream a little more easily. A lot more people are using the internet bandwidth as an issue. Maybe this is just better for now. It also is less taxing on my CPU and allows me to do some other kind of fun things a little more easily. But I've been going through, you know, obviously I also have, you know, my ending scene, which, you know, it looks like that. I really like my rating scene. My rating scene often will start to increase my CPU quite a lot because, well, it's fancy. It's got audio. It's got all kinds of stuff. So, like right now, we're sitting at 43% CPU, 42, which is unheard of for this scene. actually. That's pretty remarkable. And we're at a pretty high bit rate as well. But this is my rating scene. I like that one. And then, of course, we have the just chatting. And you can do things in this, which I like, which is emotes of, man, I'll throw a bunch of emotes there. This does not max out my CPU, which is really nice. It used to, but now you can get all the emotes just fluttering up around me, which is quite nice. And I don't know if you noticed, I made a few subtle changes to the background. It's a little bit more of a gray, icy blue than it was before. And then you have the little effects, the subtle effects of the fog and the dashes of light. I think it makes a nice, slick look. I think it's a little bit better than it was. I don't know. Essie Lessie, good to see you. How are you doing? Welcome on in. So that's a change along again with some of these things here, which is nice for, again, if I want to allow people to chat while I step away and things like that. And I like that, it also will show all of the emotes here when you use them, just like the other scenes. So I've been messing around. I've been doing a bunch of stuff, and so we'll see. Oh, wait. Wonderful. You heard back from a job. You got sent an offer. Are you kidding me, Essie? I did. I feel a little bit embarrassed to say I didn't even know that you were. I didn't even know that you were actually searching for a. Chrono says, "I think mana is just delaying the inevitability of dying in Spelunky." Boom. So you quit your job last Friday, Essie? No kidding. I did not realize that. I'm sorry to say. I actually also forget what it was that you used to do. But I sure hope that what you're about to do is really great and up your alley and what you wanted. And boy, what are the chances of us both looking at career changes and shifts in jobs at this moment? In fact, my brother-in-law also just shifted his job responsibilities. So that's kind of a little bit uncanny, I feel. Chrono says, well, congrats. You're going to be a great president, Essie. Oh, that's right, Essie. I did know that, which is pretty cool. Essie was a designer at an escape room. I'm moving up to a notch higher paying administrative assistant position with a great company. That's great. Chrono says, or a secret agent. Either one is good. Well, gosh, yeah, I hope that goes well for you. I hope that, that you enjoy it. I don't know, if it's strictly for the pay or if it's something that you really want to get into as a field and whatnot. But yeah, well, all the best. What made you decide to quit your job, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know if this is inappropriate or not. Also, if you want, I'm fine with having you hop into a call if that would be something that you'd like to do. I could open up Discord. It wouldn't really bother me. As he says, also, are you currently unemployed or are you still working? Donnie says, Essie actually just got hired as the new spokeswoman for guacamole. All guacamole, not just a specific brand. I'll tell you what, go big or go home. I love my avocados. Hopefully your guacamole is not. I want it to really speak to the flavor of the avocado. It doesn't need to do too much. No need to gussy up a good avocado, I say. Instead, I think just find the right balance of a few slight and hints of additional flavors to evoke a smile and the surprise, the delight of surprise. That's what I always say, Hey, Hexlin, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks so much for coming in. Funny, hilarious story. My Chrome stopped responding, and like the tech genius that I am, I clicked everywhere in mad panic and ended up unfollowing by accident. My disappointment is immeasurable. Hexlin, oh no. Hexlin, you're also welcome to refollow. That's an easy thing to fix, to be perfectly honest. Okay, Essie says, David and I are looking at doing a little road trip if you're free at all in November too. He's taking a week off work and we'd love to stop by. I would love that as well. Let's try and make this work. So, okay, in terms of employment, I'm still knee deep in a very demanding job. We did, however, have our big audit, and we passed with flying colors. So I guess my work was pretty good, or not too bad anyway. And but I would really like to find something different, and I've been really interested in library work. So I actually applied for a library position. Now I interviewed, and so far I'm waiting. So they said give a week to 2 weeks while they make a decision. They did, however, say something that I thought was encouraging, which is that they felt the interview was a good investment in in the future, and seeing if I and finding a place in the organization for me. It's a library district with multiple branches, and I was applying for a specific branch because it was all that was open. In fact, actually, I wasn't even applying for that. The story actually goes that I've been feeling this. I've always had this desire to work in libraries. My earliest vocational aptitude assessments actually talked about getting into that field, and unfortunately there was no library science degree in my university, and at the time there was so much changing in the world of libraries, it seemed like it was maybe something that was a little volatile to get into at that time. Oh darn, that was bad. So I ended up not actually pursuing that. However, interestingly enough, the way that libraries have evolved, it's actually very much in my skill set to work at one, it would seem. There are a lot of excellent community and social services that are now a part of library work. And, it seems like a lot of my background has really just prepared me for working in that field. So I'm kind of hoping that I end up eventually working in a library system. I read a really great article that Alex from RL Ritchie, this is another stream, it's a duo, it's actually a streaming couple, married couple, Rob and Alex from RL Ritchie. I was reading an article she sent me from a library journal, and it was a really interesting read, and it was talking about that pug just every time. So this article was talking about how really libraries are essentially places that meet the needs of a community that doesn't have its structures and systems in place to meet the basic needs of those members of it, which I thought was a really interesting perspective. And it was also talking about how people tend to glamorize and romanticize libraries as the Enlightenment era beacon of information, democracy, and hope. And certainly that's where I started. I was like, yeah, libraries, it's the place where erudite people go. And, I can sort of, sort of push up my glasses and dig deep into a book and show what a learned man I am, And that would not have been the right way to go about getting into library work. So that's why I kind of feel like almost my background has prepared me in a way where, I'm now, quote, ready, if that makes sense. That's not what I wanted to do. See if that works. Hey, nice. Okay, cool. But anyways, yeah, so everybody's here. So I still haven't answered Essie's question. I'll get to it in a second, Essie. This is my roundabout way of getting there. So I'm hopeful. It's a 30-hour a week job, and I'm thinking, boy, how cool would it be if I could then manage to work in the library for that part of my day, or week, I should say, 30 hours, and then, turn to streaming and the diaconate in my church as to round out my my work, and then I would have, of course, more time with my family, and if we could swing it, that would be super. I don't know. Oh shoot, I actually want to go back over. Let's do that. So yeah, we'll see. How cool would that be, right? Anyway, what if I do this? So I don't know if I'm going to get it. I don't know if I'm going to end up maybe the way they made it sound. It's like if I don't make it to, I can't go in there. If I don't make it into this position, then maybe I would be wanted for another position later. I'm feeling a bit of a crunch to do this because I'm so tired at work. I'm genuinely worn out. And so I really do want to find something different, and it's time. Oh, that's what those do. All right, super. We're learning things all the time. So I don't know what this month is going to hold, but Essie, if you are available, maybe we could. Oh, why did I do that? If you are available, oh dear. Maybe we could chat on Discord here. Remember when I said this was my comfort food game? What a load of crock that was. So, anyway, Hexlin, what's up with you? How are you doing tonight? Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you're doing well. It means a lot to me that you actually, came and, yeah. It was nice to see a lot of people wishing me a lot of kind words over on Twitter. I've been thinking a lot lately about how I approach what I do. I was thinking also, if I end up taking this position in the library, I could change my schedule around. In fact, I could have streams earlier in the day. I could actually, on some days, devote mornings to streams, in addition to being able to spend more time with my daughter, I would be able to spend more time here and maybe even make a little bit more of a living out of it, as it were. Essie's gonna lurk. No worries, Essie. Thanks so much for being here and for lurking. So, oh golly, darn, that almost was good. Yeah, but I would be curious to know, in terms of times that, whoa, that's a lot happening. What would be a good schedule for you? Is the Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday schedule working? Here's another thing I didn't show you all. I actually now have the new starting soon screen. See, I forgot to mention this. So I have this one as well. And you can see my schedule in the corner in my socials. What do you think of that? Is that too busy? I know it's busy. I feel like it's helpful if people are stopping by the stream for the first time. They see this, I'm going live. What is this? Oh, hey, look, there's all the information I need. So Chronos says your schedule is okay for me, but a bit late. Aha, so see, here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking. I'm actually thinking that I could go live earlier. And I'm actually already talking to Ms. Manheim about this. I talked to her while I went and got water at the top of the stream. What I was actually thinking is, I'm getting tired. I'm working late. I'm getting older. I kind of want to start going live a little bit earlier. And what I had in mind was maybe 1 to 2 hours earlier. I'm even thinking I could possibly start, at 6:30 p.m. instead of 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. Well, that was a waste. And 6:30 instead of 8:30. And how nice would that be? It would mean that I would go until 8:30 as opposed to 10:30, and that would be pretty nice. 5 a.m. streams, Twitchy Berry says. Twitchy Berry, I love you, but maybe not. That's what I'm kind of thinking anyway. So much stuff happening right now in the world. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. There's been so much going on. I have, I'll admit I actually thought about posting some thoughts and suggestions around voting. But once I moved into talking about the recent abuse in the community, that was priority, and so I didn't get around to it. A lot has happened. I know people probably don't want to dig into it right now, and that's perfectly fine. It's not my intent to force any conversations that are not fun right now. We can kind of keep it to just the gaming and keep it light, but I am also kind of thinking about having a stream maybe in the next week or so dedicated to just chatting, where we can kind of process together all that's happened in the last couple of weeks. And I don't know. I'm curious to know if you think that would be helpful, or if you would prefer not to do that. It's just something I'm thinking about. I'm doing a lot of thinking right now. Can you tell? Anyway, I can imagine Mana in his pajamas with that little hat. What is it called? A fedora? A fez? Ooh, that reminds me of the game Fez, which is it's a dumb game. Fez. Yeah, that's a game I would love to play sometime on stream. I've beat it before. It's so good. Unfortunately, the person who really created it is he's a little rough around the edges, shall we say. But the game itself is excellent. Fez is a good game. It's just rough getting used to it, Hexlin says. There are a lot of really strange things. It's an unusual game, but I love the idea of it. If you don't know, you sort of rotate the world. You spin it around. It's almost like if you imagine a column, right? And a column that has, like a cube. So it rotates, what would it be? Rotates 25 degrees each time. No, 45 degrees. Is that right? Yeah, 45 degrees each time. And it's neat because then you can create different platforms where there were none and things like that. It's a neat game. Really beautiful art style. There's a real deep lore and mystery in it, though I've never quite gotten far enough to understand all that's there. But yeah, it's a good one. I've had it on my to stream list for a long time. I've just never gotten around to it. But I like the idea. I just think politics are very controversial, so I'm not sure I want any kind of negativity here, Kronos says. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I don't tend to shy away from these things. One thing I could do is I could, instead of doing it through a just chatting stream, I could actually make it a part of... You don't want any negativity, and yet look what happens. I could make it just a Discord chat. We could do it through Discord instead. That might be a nice way to do it, actually, and keep it separate from here. I don't know. We'll see. Essie is back. Welcome back, Essie. So those are some thoughts. Some things we could do. That might work better. I think you're right, actually, Chrono. I think that's probably better. I'd like to keep my streams, on occasion, if I do more of a presentation, if I'm talking about something where I've got some solid thoughts to prepare and time to prepare and some thoughts to share, then I feel like a stream could be an appropriate place. But if it's just a conversation, I do feel like it could lead to some bad feelings. I don't like that. I actually dropped by someone's stream once who was talking about religion, another one of the topics that sometimes can upset people in conversation about it. Again, I think especially because we don't really know how to have true dialogue as much as we used to these days. But and argument in the classical sense. But I was listening to this person, and he was a streamer, and he spoke with authority, and the problem was I don't think he had the background and credentials to back it up. And many of the things he actually said were outright false. I mean, they were verifiably false, just incorrect. But because he was the streamer, others were quick to defend him, and he actually ignored a comment I had made at one point, not trying to, there were elements of what he said that I agreed with. I was trying to very gently and kindly point out this fallacy. And anyway, he was actually somewhat rude about it, and again, spoke with authority where I don't think he had any. And it's easy to do, I think, on streaming because this game is hard. It came off as arrogance, I guess. Yeah, arrogance, but it was almost more like, when you think about streaming, you think about, the fact that I'm live right now. I'm essentially producing a show, a live show, and granted, with a lot more casual attitude than one might if they were, producing a standard kind of typical daytime show or whatever. But that's what I'm doing. And so one thing that I sometimes think about is like, yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, and it is a bit of a position of power that I'm in, that I actually have this opportunity. I have the gear, the resources in order to stream. I'm fairly lucky, actually, to be able to do this. I have the internet to do it. I can't take that for granted. And woo, yay! Sorry, Pug. So it was almost like that, that awe that people have of, oh, you were on the radio? This was a thing maybe back in the day more, but, you were in, oh dear. I'm just not going to talk about that one. If you want to clip that one, feel free. That was a doozy. So it's almost like with streaming, it's that same kind of awe and reverence of, hey, yeah, they're on a show. And yes, you're right, exactly. We put streamers on a pedestal. I don't know much about her, and I know there was some recent controversy. Pokimane, I think, is her name. She's a streamer and made a lot of her money off of merchandise and a name and a theme that was focused on Pokemon. So, man with a serious conversation, and boom, right, Chrono? So Pokimane, I think she has to change her name, or at least a lot of her branding has to change to be something that is not, infringing on Nintendo's copyright. However, I just noticed, or just saw an article because I try and keep up on news within the streaming community, and found out that she actually has capped all of her donations, every donation in her community now, at $5, which I thought was really kind of a neat thing. And she said that she felt like she was in a place where she really didn't need more. And well, that was unfortunate. We all that way, and then darn. Anyway, so no one can donate more than $5 in her channel now, and she encouraged people to donate to other streamers as well, and people who might need it more, things like that. It was kind of cool. And I don't know if this was a self-promo kind of thing, like, hey, I'm going to be famous if I do this. But honestly, I have also felt frequently, like I am undeserving of the kind of financial support that I get streaming. It's no small change. Like, and the fact that people come and hang out with me, I tend to also have imposter syndrome because of that. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool that she can do that. I know you don't do donations at all. Is that right? I mean, kind of true. I don't have any direct donations set up. I may change that. I don't know. Basically, when I first started streaming, I didn't have anything because I wanted to really create a separation between. I wanted to distance myself from what I saw at the time, which was this culture of like flaunting wealth in order to build relationship that really was surface level. And yeah, see, Hexlin, that's right. Hexlin read that she was uncomfortable with people donating thousands of dollars to her. Well, I feel like she said also even $20 would feel too much to her. And what I found is, like, I didn't feel right. This game. I didn't feel right, accepting anything. The first financial support that I accepted was when I finally started Patreon. I never, so this was before the affiliate program, and before I was maybe as serious or, dare I say, adept at streaming. And, I actually avoided using Streamlabs direct donations because at that time I just didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. Anyway, I became an affiliate, and my intent there was actually not so much to... So then what I did is, during this time, I didn't have any kind of donations despite the ability to. I started a Patreon... which I still have. It's limited in scope now. It used to be more service oriented, where I ran a Minecraft server, and then it became what it is today, which is really more of a way of supporting me as directly as you can. It takes the least amount of money away from the streamer. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs. I think Twitchy Berry, as a matter of fact, told me there were some issues that he had come across with Patreon. Lolothans, hello! For the longest time, I've had your intro song tuned in my head, but can you blame me? It's really good. No way! Thank you so much. Well, you know what we could do? Let's give you a little title bump. Ready? 3, 2, 1. And that is just for you, my friend, just for you, Lolothans. Heyo, everyone, Chrono says. So yeah, now my Patreon is really just a way of direct contribution. This was also before. Now there's bits, and bits I incorporated because what I liked about them is that you could actually earn bits by watching ads, so you didn't have this have and have not kind of inequality. But now it seems like they're doing away with that. And then, subscribers, it just goes, par for the course in streaming on Twitch. And so providing quality emotes thanks to Ginny Gravity, I feel like that's a good thing. I would like to, I like the show aspect of streaming. I'd like to do more with it. I'd like to cover more, content, more reviews, things like that. So there's a lot I'd like to explore in the world of streaming, and so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But again, if I end up, ooh, Nelly. If I end up taking this job at the library, this would be supplemental income, so I would have to think about how to monetize it better. Lolothans asks how my runs are going. Well, I'd say everything you've seen up to this point is pretty much how my runs are going. They're not great. This is only about the second time I've played Spelunky 2, and we might fire up Spelunky 1 at the end of this just to see if I do any better. I probably will, I'm guessing. But yeah, there's just a lot that I haven't figured out in Spelunky 2. So, we can't buy that. You know what? What the heck? That's how my runs are going. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Anyway. Just takes practice and dying. Well, exactly. This is not unlike how my first runs of Spelunky went. So, or just dying. Ah! See, some of those things just don't seem right. Like, that was just a dumb move. I'm gonna attempt now to focus a little bit more on just the maze part. See, one of the things that changed in darn it, let's try this again. One of the things that changed in this versus the first game that I noticed is the initial levels are laid out much more differently, and you have to really think more vertically than you do in the original game. In the original Spelunky, the caves are more about horizontal paths. In here, you can almost get stuck very easily just by going the wrong direction, and because everything is so vertical, you can get trapped and then have to use your bombs or ropes. So that's a challenge right there. And then I still don't know how to get past the jungle. That jungle, we got in there once today, but the jungle is really tough. I mean, you've got whole sections you can't walk on. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do there. So I'm still trying to figure this out. Oh, darn. Well, we could do this. And that. And this, maybe? Yeah! All the stuff. All the stuff. Callie seems pleased. I think I'm going to change my character after this run, too. No. I might have better luck with another character, you know? They might have better stats. So, hey, Alucard, how you doing? Lovely to see you. Ooh, yeah, I have that now. Sweet. And I can just run over. Oh! I get so excited. Character select. I like that you can just go right to the character select, too. Let's go with, you know what? Let's just go with Anna again. Chrono, please, a small tip. This is fine. Backseat gaming on this is perfectly appropriate. I have no problems with that whatsoever. Lawson says, "Oh no!" Alucard, it's going all right. I'm not necessarily doing so great, but yeah. I'd love to know just in general how everyone is doing, and what would you like to talk about? You know, shout out a topic. I'd love to just answer questions or share things, whatever you want. You know, that'd be cool. By the way, that was like either incredible amount of luck or skill. I knew to jump, but I didn't actually look as I jumped because I got distracted with chat, and somehow I dodged the arrow perfectly. That's kind of impressive, and that's less impressive. And I hate this game. So in the jungle, Chrono says, there's an item that allows you to run on those pointy surfaces. It's a shoe in for you to figure it out. I love it, Chrono. I also love when people, you know, say things in a way that's, you know, like, I gotcha, but, you know, it's not totally obvious. It's a great way to share a hot tip. So I wonder if the spiky shoes would allow you to maneuver in the jungle. That was kind of a thought that I had. I don't know. That'd be cool. Poor Pug. Come on, Pug. Also, you can have a bit of a Thanksgiving in these levels, even though Yang would probably not appreciate it. Okay. I do. Whoa, Nelly. I gotta figure out what's going on. Gotta figure out what's going on with those turkeys. Lalathans asks a question. Is the internet really that bad for the current and following generations? Oh, I mean, boy, bit of a serious topic, but it's always good to talk about. Hey, all right, yes, we're gonna take it on. We're gonna take it on during this run. We'll talk about it. So there's a great video, a music video that that Jack Conte and his wife put together. They're the founders of Patreon, and it's called "The Internet is Awesome," and they talk about some fantastic ways in which the internet has truly improved our way of life, as well as our ability to connect with people. And it used to be that you might have a particular interest. It might be one that not a lot of people around you share, and so through the power of the internet, you can connect and find like-minded people. It's fantastic. And in that way, it's awesome. And as a way to connect across long distances, as a way to network and collaborate, as a way to stay in touch with family and friends, as a way to create and disseminate information, I think it's a fantastic thing. And the internet, in and of itself, is it has so many opportunities for good and for ill, that it's hard to just say it's all good or all bad. It's much more mixed than that. Now, Alucard says internet yes, social media no. Now, this is actually where I was going. This is perfect segue. This is where it gets a little bit more difficult, because social media, and truly, I mean, this is part of the problem with the internet, as well as current state of mobile gaming. It is designed in a way, that was terrible. It's designed in a way to be addictive, to draw you in, to keep you scrolling. And social media is no less an offender than, a Flappy Bird, and it gets all of its money through advertising. And in the early days of the internet, there was no monetization of it. And once there was, things were locked behind a paywall. And that had issues as well, because then it was only a service for those who have money. And it still has some of that, just by the nature of internet provider fees. But it can be argued now that it really is an essential service that should be guaranteed to all, because without it, right now, you wouldn't even be able to go to school. Schools are handing out hotspots. Libraries are handing out hotspots. Libraries, again, this is speaking of those essential services that a community might not have, in which a library can provide. Here you go, the internet. There are people who are incapable of getting out of homelessness, or other situations that are difficult, extreme poverty, etc., simply because of a lack of access to the internet. And so, as you think about the way that websites have evolved, the fact that it can rely on ads, one nice thing is everyone can watch an ad. Then that way the haves, the advertisers, are the ones providing the money for the person to then use the internet. The problem with that is that ads and websites then design themselves to keep you scrolling and to keep you seeing more ads, to keep you in the sales loop. So it's very, very tough. Twitchy Berry says that's like arguing cell phones are essential and should be provided free for all. And to some extent, that is also very true. Although I will say, in homeless populations, people will sometimes critique and say, well, look, this person's homeless, but they have an iPhone. They have a smartphone, an Android. Usually it's an Android because it's less expensive, or a hand-me-down iPhone. I might be speaking more specifically to our area than than at large. But again, hey, they have a smartphone. Why they can't really be homeless. If they can afford a smartphone, they can afford a whatever. They can get a job. They can XYZ, whatever. But the fact is, without that cell phone, they'd be even more out of luck. It's through the cell phone that so much else is done. In fact, usually a homeless person actually, or someone in intense poverty, does have a job or housing or something, but it is so tight that they can only afford so much. They can only do so much within that very limited structure. And so a cell phone could be essential, more even than a car, because so many jobs require. Just getting beat up to no end here. Roguelike, it's funny style of game. You die and come back and die and come back. Sometimes you don't know why, right, Alucard? So internet and social media, that is an issue with it. There have been some studies, and to be honest, I am not entirely certain or knowledgeable enough to say the veracity of them, but there have been people who've said that internet addiction, and especially social media addiction, is as problematic as a heroin addiction in the sense of a similar effect on your brain. I don't know. It alters your brain. It alters your sleep patterns, your way of thinking, etc. It is a very serious thing, and there is certainly addiction to phones and screens and cell phones and things like that. And we can define addiction really simply. Just it is, and somewhat broadly, by saying something that you feel compelled to do, even knowing the negative consequences, you will still do it anyways. So, when I was, and I do actually admit to having been addicted to video games, and maybe not that far off today, but when I was really addicted, it was at the time where I knew that I should be going to bed. My parents want me to be, asleep, and I would sneak to play a round of The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, for example. I knew that I would be tired in the morning. I knew that I would, that I wasn't supposed to do it, but I would do it anyway. A tip, yes, Lolothans, I'd love to know it. Man, the internet was the best and worst thing that happened to us, Alucard says. Yeah, so Chichi Berry says, considering you can't get paid from many employers without a bank account, I'm surprised banks charge people to take their money. That's another good point. Yeah, right? But also, yeah, that's a whole other layer. And this is a problem. We create these systems if we, I feel like we're going down so many rabbit holes with the internet. Let me just wrap up by saying this. Two things. First of all, the internet has its pros and cons. I'm grateful to live in a hyper-connected world. I am nervous for our young people and us because of our growing addiction to devices, because of the ways that they are set up. I'll also say, as an aside, I didn't really cover this, but I just want to mention sexting. Oh my gosh. And of course abuse, digital abuse, which we just went through as a community, talking about, and that is easier to do when you're divided. You're a name on the other side of a screen as opposed to a person that you see and you think about the consequences of your actions. Okay. So Chrono has a new question, and Dash, good morning or good evening or whatever it is. Happy 9:35ish. Lawson says, I wouldn't advise it in real life, that's for sure. But when in a store you got Shield, you can pick it up and press the shopkeeper against the wall to get rid of him instantly. I will have to keep that in mind. I wouldn't advise that in real life. Good point, Lawson. I love it. Chrono asks, how did you recognize your addiction and what steps did you take to handle your addiction? So the video game addiction. When I knew I was addicted, it was really in large part thanks to my parents who pointed it out, and so this screen addiction at that time. Again, this is in the time we didn't have a computer at the time, as a matter of fact. So it was really purely video games and TV. What we did as a family is we actually decided to cut out screens for the summer, and so we were able to choose one 30-minute television show or 30 minutes of game time that we would have per day, and that's it. And I chose to, because of recognizing the issue and the severity of it, I chose to go, quote, cold turkey. And I just decided, you know what, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to not watch any shows. I'm not going to play any video games. And there was a good few years, in fact, that I kept this up. We were only going to do it for the summer, and I actually kept it up for a few years. And I almost sold my entire video game collection. I'm grateful now I didn't, but I came awfully close, and I did sell some things during that time, especially a lot of my Tiger Electronics handhelds I sold off during that time. And so I again, I guess I kind of went cold turkey, so to speak. And oh shucks, let's do this. And I just didn't play or watch anything. And then over time, I went to college, and my roommates there at college, we were living in a dorm, and the question was, well, hey, should we, let's bring all of our video games so we can kind of share what we had growing up and whatnot. And I thought, oh, that seems like a fine idea. I'll just bring all my stuff up, and then we'll share them and hook them all up in the living room. And my friends and I, we had this praise and worship group, and we would leave after the praise and worship group and just hang out for several hours after. We did the praise and worship group. We would hang out there usually and play music and things for several hours, or for a good half hour to an hour, and then go back to our apartment, hang out there for a couple hours, and we'd either watch a movie or eat dinner together, or play some video games. And we played a lot of Mario Kart 64, actually. And so I got out of video games around the GameCube era, and then I just basically didn't play. And then when I didn't have any new video games, I just kept my old systems. My wife and I ended up going to the East Coast for grad school. And while there, I got my first console in a long while, which was a DS. That was a gift from my wife, and I was hesitant to even get it. It was, in fact, boo. I thought it was farther away than that. She reminds me, volcano level, things are heating up. Yeah, right. She reminds me that I kind of was a little bit of a bummer. Like, she got this for me, and I was like, oh, you shouldn't have. No, like, you really shouldn't have. Oh, we don't have the money for this. She's like, just accept the darn gift. But that was kind of when I started playing again. And then, was it at least a year or two after the Wii had come out that we finally got a Wii. And then that's how I played all of the GameCube games I'd missed out on. and I would just use that as downtime during grad school. And then post grad school, I had a coworker who had a PlayStation 2 that I borrowed, and I played a lot of DS and Game Boy Advance because of the DS, and mobile titles on the early iOS App Store. And then this PS2, I kind of just rediscovered, the retro scene, because it was like, oh, it was secondhand at that time, really. It's like, oh, it's easy for me just to pick up some games and play these, more cheaply, like that. And so I've always been a couple generations behind on most systems, except until very recently with Nintendo, where I've been caught up. The Wii U was I got within the first year, and the Switch I got at launch. That was the first time I got a launch title system at launch ever in my life. But because of streaming, because of doing all of this, this kind of person. You're the kind of person who only complains about the present. Just accept it, Alucard says, right? But because of streaming, I've gotten much more into playing video games. I do enjoy them when I can, just on my own, just for fun and unwinding. But truthfully, if it weren't for streaming, I would not be playing as much as I do. I enjoy sharing a look at gaming in general. I've always enjoyed gaming. I thought about getting into some kind of work in gaming, Everyone wanted to be a tester back in the day. But, I always thought it was cool, and I've always appreciated the art of video games. So now to be able to share my thoughts on games, game design, games that I think need more exposure or deserve it, highlighting Nintendo games, because I've always felt Nintendo is where it's at. I really appreciate their approach to gaming, their dedication to quality. And if I could, I'd love to end up being a Nintendo brand ambassador. That's, if I'm honest, I'd love that. I'm really interested in the Intellivision Amico because it's a family-friendly console. I'd love to. Honestly, I keep telling myself I'm going to try reaching out to Tommy Tallarico and see if he would, be willing to be on my channel. I feel like he would probably be someone who would do it. But I have, again, that sort of imposter syndrome where I just don't feel like I'm really at that level. But maybe I am, I've done other things. I've gone to Streamlabs headquarters and talked to them, and I've certainly had my share of professional inside sorts of things. I've even been given games to stream just solely because of my role as a content creator. So I probably should give myself more credit, really. But yeah, there you have it, everyone. Lots of thoughts, but man, go ahead and reach out to him. If he says no, then nothing's changed. Fair point. Would you be interested in me talking to Tommy Tallarico? How cool would that be, huh? He's an industry veteran beyond the Intellivision Amico, really. Cronus says yes. Oh, I might have to do that. Cronus says I collect games, but maybe I should rethink that if I'm not playing them. So I feel like collections are an interesting thing, and I was actually talking about this because of my interest in this library position. The idea of a library, it's interesting. It's sort of against the capitalistic notion of getting. Is this what I need? Spring shoes? No, that's not what I need. It's sort of against the capitalistic notion at its core, because it says if you we could all, let's say we have the money to buy the books that we want. We could buy a book, and it could sit on a shelf in our home for 90% of its life, 99% of its life, right? Or we could use a library and share these resources. And it's interesting that, so many people do go to, well, I want to buy, and myself included, I want to buy a book. Okay, so for me, I used to be, I am someone who likes to collect and curate an archive because I feel like it's sort of a way of preserving history. I've done this all my life in ways that often are not super helpful, but I would keep documents and things like that I really didn't need to, just because of a sense of preservation. And so, ooh, Scooter, thanks for that host. So I've always thought this way, and there are a few things which I collect that I think are more interesting. Now what I've done is I've pared down my collections, but it is a personality thing. I used to hold on to everything, and I had many, many CDs. I had a large CD collection. I realized, honestly, I'm better off with just an Apple Music subscription because it's easier for me to access the music how and when I want it, and I don't have to have the space for everything. It's guaranteeing, probably not as fair as it could be, but it's guaranteeing payment to the artists, whereas buying a secondhand CD may not. And so I went, all right, sell all the CDs. I don't have to worry about that space. Same thing with movies. We have a Netflix subscription. It's just easier, and then it takes all of that out of my home. And I know that those things are being preserved. I know that, movies are archived and preserved. I know that music is archived and preserved. I don't need to be the one doing that. Now, certainly I have some CDs and movies. I've kept, a handful of each that are important for one reason or another. Maybe they're signed by the artist, or maybe they are movies or CDs that I really love, or I remember when I got them. So I have, maybe half dozen to a dozen of each, But that's it. And then I think about what are the collections I really want, and that's video games and books. And Ms. Mana is really the big one for the books. We both collected books. It was really exciting when we got to put our books together, our book collections together. But now it's like, okay, so that is a collection, and that she curates more than I do now, and video games is the collection that I curate. And so it's one thing, it's manageable, and I like it as a hobby because for a number of reasons I'll get into in a moment. I sold off like all my Star Wars toys. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I sold all of them off. That was really hard to do. But I did it because I knew I needed to have more space and things like that. But video games, there's still a lack of a systematic archival program. Yes, there are video games in the Library of Congress, but we're still learning all these things. I'm happy to have all of this original hardware, and then I consider my efforts on Twitch and YouTube as really preserving video game content. So there you have that. Oh, well, that was too close. Scooter's on their way home from work. Nice. So a couple of the reasons that I enjoy collecting, it's sort of a hobby for me. I look at it as a way of ordering things and organizing things. If you've ever done the Strengths Finder, anyone ever do the Strengths Finder? Oh, your father has a vinyl collection, so I grew up to kind of love vinyl. Alucard, that's really cool. There is something also about sort of older technology. Having a physical object for something you love, I think, is really cool. And analog and older technology is certainly, I think, really exciting to have. If there was some music that I really loved, I'd probably want it on vinyl, and and then I would listen to it on Apple Music, to be honest. But yeah. this isn't going to get me anywhere. So, if anyone's ever done StrengthsFinder, Chrono has to go to bed. No worries. StrengthsFinder rates out of 50, I think it is, something like that, different strengths that a person can have, what your top 5 are. It actually ranks all of them top to bottom, but usually you only look at your top 5. And my top one, if I'm not mistaken, or at least in my top 5, there was connectedness, ideation, but the connectedness one is the one that really stands out to me. Oh, darn. It really stands out to me because connectedness pertains also to seeing patterns and how things interrelate, which is something that I use in lots of areas of my life, but also in just putting things in order. I love organizing my comics, which I have less of now, but I at one point did have quite a few comics. And what I found is that just putting them in order was really satisfying. But putting video games in order is satisfying, archiving them, curating them, knowing what I have, keeping a database of what I have, so that when I'm at an event that has used video games, I know what I have. It's just really cool. So, right. Lolothan says, I wish audio quality in digital format was as good as physical, but that seems like a long way to go. Well, I feel like it's a lot of it comes down to how we're going to listen to it too. And if digital music, or if we're listening to music on a tiny set of earbuds, it really doesn't matter because those earbuds aren't going to get. That was fun. That was just lovely. It was lovely. I think there are a lot of people who don't understand the style of musical version. I want to know what this means. Musical fusion or fusical? Sorry, Alucard says, what is the word? What are we? Says who? How? What? What are we talking about? I'm so confused. It's true, neither of us nor our devices could make justice to the quality of the sound. Right, yeah. At a certain point, there's diminishing returns, to be fair. We could sort of be such audiophiles where I believe, in terms of bit rates and things like this, I mean, there have been some good studies that actually say kind of where the human ear tends to max out, and we've surpassed that with digital music. But people will always hear some things differently. I think, to be fair, I don't think it really matters. I think that a lot of people do appreciate vinyl more than a CD or an MP3 specifically, or precisely because it of the experience. There's something that's really cool and almost magical about putting a vinyl album on a player and spinning that disc, and you got your LP, and it's cool. It's just really cool, and I think that speaks to our desire to have something tangible. That's one of the things in talking about the internet too. We desire something physical. We're physical beings, Also, and I shared this earlier. I think this might be appropriate for our conversations today. We had a bunch of topics, and this one just might be worth reflecting on. So I'm going to go to my Twitter account real quick. I shared this a couple days ago, or yesterday, was it? Really? Seems like can't keep track of these things right now. But I shared this quote from Pope Francis, no less. It says, "Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We are all born to help each other, no matter how difficult it is. Life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you." There's a lot of things that are just connectedness. there are a lot of things that show that we are, you know, connected people. That the physical thing matters, and in my faith, for example, we, as a Catholic, we talk about the sacraments. They are all things connected to the physical. We look to the example of Jesus healing the blind man. What did he do? He spit into the dirt, made mud, and rubbed it in the eyes of the blind man, said the words, and he was healed. There's something about that, that this is God's creation in which we can interact and see God, and God can interact with us. And so I feel like we're, in our core, in the core of who we are in our being, we desire something tangible and physical, something that is real and substantial. Digital will never have that aspect. And digital is excellent for so many reasons. Not everyone should have a hard copy of every single book out there, or every video game out there, or every comic book. There should be a hard copy out there. At least one library ought to have a whole catalog collection full. But in terms of, just space, there's only so much space in the world, right? So digital is a great way of archiving, of accessing. Heck, I've even though I love the smell of ink on a page of a book, there's something that's very sensual about reading a book. I still read on Kindle from time to time. It's just, it might be easier, it might be more convenient for whatever reason, and so I do. So if you have a PDF and you have the book, then people that don't understand that, sometimes we need the physical. It's like if you have the PDF and you have the book, there are people who don't understand that sometimes we need the physical one. Yeah, right? Red Alucard? Maybe it's having something physical of something it's very important to you, right, Lothans? Right. So, you find that one book, you go to the library. Oh my gosh, this book is so important to me. I'm going to reread it again and again, or I just want to remember it and be able to access it whenever I want to, read a portion of it or reference it. Yeah, you buy the book, right? Honestly, I tend to think a lot like the immortal John Hancock in terms of how I approach video game collection. If I end up working in a library, I fully intend to put on events where I share my collection of video games, and so young people can come and try out original hardware. I've thought often about, in my area, starting a retro video game convention. These are all things I want to do, and the immortal John Hancock has talked a lot about building a video game museum, and I think that he's good for it. So eventually we'll see that, and I think those are all things that appeal to me for the reasons I've shared just now, and things that I think are partly why I still collect, even though, to be perfectly honest, there really is there's so much that I have that at this point it's almost overwhelming. Come on, Puggy. Whew, we made it somehow. Nice. And I'm not gonna get to every game that I have. I'm just not. I do have a lot of Steam games, mostly because they're cheap. Mostly because I bought a lot of Humble Bundles, which, by the way, you can use my Humble Bundle code if you want. You can use them for Nintendo games as well. But I got a lot of Steam games through there. If given the opportunity, though, I will always get a physical game. And for games that I really care about, I'll double dip. But there are games that I don't care enough to buy again if I've already purchased digitally. There are some. Nice pug, right? Woo! We did that too. Nice. Yeah, gaming on. Humble Bundle also has Nintendo games. Actually, you can buy Nintendo Switch games through the Humble Bundle, and you could, I could get a little kickback from that. True story. But yeah. I mean, there for PC. There's not a physical format anymore. I see what you mean. Yeah, that's right. That's right. There are some efforts to sort of bring it back. It's kind of like these limited editions. You might get a CD or something like that, or a thumb drive. But it's essentially a digital file on a universal format. Again, disc-based or often a USB drive or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's not. Dagnabbit. It's not the same. Boom. There we go. Oh no! No, get up! No! Ah, boo. Chrono, honestly, I think Mana should mention that Humble Bundle link more often. Oh, I'm supposed to be going to bed. Chrono, thanks. I really probably should. I don't do it enough. There are a lot of things that I don't know. I always feel a little guilty with the self-promotion stuff. I don't know. It's not really fair because, yeah. Anyway. Ah! Oh no! Well, that's not good. Ah! Drat! Okay, well, we only have a little bit more to go, and then I've definitely got to get going, but I'm getting tired. I do need to figure out. I'm thinking, so I'm going to circle back to something that I started talking about the top of the stream, and that is how I needed more water. Oh, man. Aw. Lawson says, I don't know, Manny, you look like a pretty humble person, and to be honest, your self-promotion gives me nothing but joy. Aw. Well, thank you. I like the idea that I can help you while buying something. Well, I do appreciate that. Yeah, it is a really nice thing because it doesn't cost you anything more, you know? I've been thinking about getting an Amazon affiliate link as well. And also, actually, while we're on this line of thinking, I've been thinking about getting a P.O. box so that if you have old games that you're saying, I don't have a reason to hold on to these, I would love to add them to my collection and curate them and be able to show them off through video and stream content. So that is something I am thinking about. I'm thinking about making an Amazon affiliate or whatever it is, code, so that if I want to share links with people, you could use that. And then P.O. Box. And oh my goodness, Marshall! Everybody, we have been rated by the absolutely fantastic seeming Marshall. Welcome, Raiders. If we could get an exclamation mark Raider command thrown in the chat, that would be super. And Maddie Lady 7, coming on in with the Marshall raid. Thank you so much. There we go. Raid. And, oh darn, I guess I'll have to make that Raider command universal for everyone, but we'll go ahead and put it in there. Grab your boomerang or slingshot. I've got the Master Sword. I don't right now. I wish I did. Normally I would. And perhaps later check out the Raiders channel. Let's go ahead and do a shout out. Dash, if you wouldn't mind shouting out Marshall, that would be awesome. Maddie Lady 7, love that emote. I'm guessing that might be Marshall's as well. Let's see. Yeah. No, it's Maddie Lady 7. Maddie Lady 7 also streams. So I would love to know more about both of your channels. And what were you doing there, Marshall? Why'd you decide to come to this humble corner of Twitch? And how's your night? That one was was yours there, Marshall. Nice. Well, yeah, so welcome. My name is Mana. I am an E for Everyone family-friendly variety streamer. I focus on Nintendo, retro on original hardware, and indie titles. I really enjoy Spelunky. I do consider the original like my comfort food game. And I've been playing the second one now. This is only the second time I picked it up. I hate to admit it. I got it the day it came out, but I just haven't had time. or I've streamed other things. But I really do enjoy Spelunky a lot. I'm glad to be playing it again. I am terrible at Spelunky 2, though. Still grinding away and getting better at it. Just kind of getting into the muscle memory aspect of it right now. Spelunky 2, that is. I'm just kind of going with the flow and not working too hard. I haven't even made it past the jungle right now, but that's okay, right? Whew, so glad that did not go worse. Did I just use the dog as a weapon? Maybe? I never played this, Maddie says, but it does not seem PETA friendly. Marshall says, Mary Martin brought us here from my wife and I doing Wifey Wednesday, and now we are hanging out with you. Marshall, really? No kidding. That's awesome. So what is Wifey Wednesday? What do you do there? What is that? And thanks so much to Memory Martin for connecting us. That's super. Let's take a look here. Marshall, welcome to the cafe. Variety streaming with a focus on community and a relaxing atmosphere to hang out in. I love that. So in there about me, Marshall says my name on here is read as if you're screaming at me down the hall to let me know that dinner is ready. So, Marshall! I shouldn't say that too much because Ms. Mana and Mana Sprout might wake up. Currently a casual and variety streamer from the South, graduated college in 2012 and then traveled the country before coming back home. Husband and dog dad. What kind of dog do you have? Here we stream anything from retro games to adventure games and everything in between. Come hang out. Well, what the hey? You know what? A friend of Memory Martin is a friend of mine. We're going to go ahead and drop that follow. And let's also go ahead and check out Maddie's channel. Do that in just a moment here. Maddie is... let's go back here. So Marshall says that my way of saying their name was perfect. They say that the Wifey Wednesday is their wife and them co-hosting and just playing whatever they want or whatever she wants, usually Animal Crossing. I love Animal Crossing. I play a lot of Animal Crossing myself. 2 Chihuahuas and a rat terrier. What is a Chihuahua? I don't even know that. Chihuahua? Or... Maddie says there's not a whole lot of info on my channel. Let's see. Let's find out. Maddie. Oh, heyo, Marshall.
Friends of Mana.
Thank you. Learning to play some Mario ROM hacks, racing Link to the Past, blind plays of classic games. Feel free to lurk, chat, hang, whatever you like. Want to know when you can catch me on here? Use !schedule. All right. Listen.
Thanks for joining the Friends
I've just
of
followed
Mana.
you as well, Maddie. I just feel like doing a couple of... I honestly, I'm not a follow for follow kind of person. I don't tend... And please, you just followed. I was going to say don't feel obliged to follow. Well, thank you for following. You didn't have to. I hope you enjoy it here. I hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome to the Friends of Mana. I do hope that we can... that we can continue to connect. I don't get a lot of opportunities to hang out in other people's channels. Following is a good way for me to even see, like, oh, hey, here's someone, they're online. I can see what they're doing. Maybe we'll be able to raid you sometime. Who knows? But I'm super excited to kind of see what is down the line and meet some new people. And like I said, friends of Memory Martin, friend of mine. I liked what I saw in your about me. It is pretty important. I tend to always like to follow those when I meet new people and I find out they stream. And to be honest, what you had on there appealed to me enough that I felt confident to give you a follow. And I have oftentimes not followed people who I've seen there about me and I've said, yes, this is not for me. So there you go. I don't do a lot of follow for follows, so thank you for impressing my wife and I with how nice you are. Seriously, you seem like a great guy and we're excited to come hang out with you. Thank you, Marshall. Maddie. Oh, and Brutal Bee. Thank you so much for that follow as well. That means a ton. Maddie says, it's true. I thought I'd be a grown-up streamer and have a schedule, but that's all pretty much fell apart. Now I just stream when I feel like streaming. Fair enough. Memory Martin, welcome on in. Sounds like a Chihuahua mix, says. And also, I do the same, Maddie, though lately I've gotten a good schedule. That's right. Brutal B, thank you. Thank you all so much for those follows. Memory Martin, seriously, thank you. I can't thank you enough for that. Memory Martin has been an awesome support and friend. And actually, in case you're wondering, you can go back into my VODs and there's a video that Memory Martin and I did. It's actually part of a series called Isle Man Alive, where we have a little talk show in the world of Animal Crossing. Memory Martin was a guest on said talk show, and we talked about all kinds of serious and sometimes challenging topics, especially focusing on mental health. It was a whole lot of fun. Really grateful for the opportunity to do that. I'm also very sad right now that I do not happen to have any more bombs. But MM says, nah, you guys are making me blush with joy. Yay. Aw, snap, the wife of the follow. Was that your wife, Marshall? Awesome. Thank you so much. Or, excuse me, Marshall! Well, thank you, Brutal B. So, yeah, Brutal B, do you stream on your channel too, or is it on the Marshall channel that you stream? And I can't do anything there. Well, yeah, I can. Hold on, I can do something. Just have to think about it for a moment. All right. Boom. Boom. And well, now what? Okay, so I can do that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, all right. We managed to make something out of nothing. And then I followed you as well. Always super happy to find awesome new peeps. Thank you so much. Dude, I love how you do the name. I'm glad. I'm glad. Maddie says, B is the head banhammer user over at Marshall's channel. Nice. Excuse me. Marshall's channel. Don't worry, man. I forget to mention my humble link too. I also triple dipped on Sonic Mania. There you go, Scooter, with some comments from a while ago, but because of the fact that he's just been in the process of getting home from work, getting to them now. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, seriously, for coming in. I really love. I mean it. I love meeting new people. I feel like. The opportunity to connect, especially when I'm playing something that I'm not really typically known for, which is Spelunky. I'm not a big name in the Spelunky community. Oh, well, that happened. It's nice. I didn't expect to have anyone new follow today, but you did, and I appreciate that. Yeah, if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. I actually often will say for new people, ask me anything. I don't mind. If I don't want to answer it, I won't. But frequently I find that, people might seem a little embarrassed to ask a question that they're really wanting to ask. So just go for it. It's totally fine. Brutal B says, okay, I'm out. It's way past my sleepy time. I'm looking forward to watching you guys more soon. Thank you so much. Hey, I'm going to go back to my title screen here just for a moment. This is my starting soon screen, but it has my schedule on there, and I might have to put this on another screen as well for people. I didn't think about that, but there you go. It's Tuesdays, Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, and Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So I really hope that we get to see each other at some point again. And for anyone who came in with the raid, who is just kind of chilling out. Again, if you're enjoying this, or if you decide after watching for a while that you enjoy it, please do consider following. And anyone who's interested in my Discord, you can let me know too. You all seem to be wonderful people, so I'd be happy to share that link. It is an invite only for people I've gotten to know. So, all right, Chrono's finally going to bed. Brutal B, good night. Chrono says they're good Spelunky players. They usually have 50,000 deaths. Oof, what is this area? This is exciting. Can I go like that? Did I? Oh, snap. I'm so glad I didn't just jump right into that, because I almost did. Okay. Learning all the time. All the time we're learning. And, that happened as well. MM says, Art of Man, and guess what? What, MM? I'm curious. How long you been streaming for, Maddie asks. This is now so yeah, I started at 8:30 p.m. It's 10:15, so an hour and 45 minutes. We're wrapping up here pretty soon. In fact, this is going to be our last run. No matter how we do, this is going to be it. So Oh, you mean like a year, a month? Gotcha. I see, Maddie. Sorry. I started streaming about 4 years ago. Actually, going on 5 in a couple of months. In January, I will be celebrating my 5-year streaming anniversary, and I'll be doing something special for that. Half a decade at this. It's kind of wild to think about. In fact, I can't even believe it. But that's true, and I've got now a 9-year plan of building a studio in the back where I can create some videos and make some neat kind of backdrops for my streaming as well, and have everything set up the way I want. I do have a YouTube channel. I do make videos on there as well. That's another part of what I do as a content creator. I started that a little bit more recently. I didn't do that from the beginning of my time streaming. I've kind of jumped into streaming and found that I really enjoyed it. I feel like it's almost more jazz-like, where video is more like classical. You compose something very deliberately, you edit it until it's where you want it, and you ensure that every element of it has a purpose, where jazz is more free form, and it's more about what you can do improvisationally. And so that's something I love about streaming. It's a chance for me to dive in and try and do my best in every situation, keep things going, keep things lively and entertaining and enjoyable and all of those things. And I would say I'm blessed that we have great people here that help me to achieve that. And I think for the most part, we tend to do pretty good. There are definitely those times that are a little, shall we say, boring. But thankfully, I think they're fairly few and far between. So what would be the simplest explanation of what you're doing in this game? Maddie, great question. That's right. You did say this is a new one for you. So Spelunky, and this is the sequel Spelunky 2, is a roguelike game in that there are procedurally generated levels. And that means that there's not actually... Oh, well, that was interesting. There's not actually a standard set of a layout that you can memorize, maybe like a classic NES game or something. Instead, you go through these sections filled with traps and enemies and things that are going to knock you out. And you have, in the original game, which I can speak more to than this one, 4 main areas made up of 4 levels each. We'll do one more here. We're trying to find, rescue our parents who were the protagonists in the first one. That's a great way. That is true, Mary Martin. That is true, story-wise in this. But yeah, there are 4 worlds, so to speak, as you go deeper into these caves, and there are 4 levels in each, and there's some branching pathways and things that make it a little more complicated than that. But because it's different every time, it's more about learning to recognize the traps and almost puzzle-solving platforming, in a sense that you have to kind of approach your movement based on thinking ahead and what traps are there. Obviously, I'm not doing a great job of it. But yeah, that's what this game is. It's really fun. I like it. It's very challenging, as you can see. The sequel seems a little more challenging than the first game, although I also have to admit I put a lot of hours into the first game, so some of that is just the fact that I've gotten better at it. Yeah. You can also steal things from shopkeepers. They don't like it. I mean, they tend not to. I can just do that. I was told I could do that. Lothans, I think, told me I could do that. Anyway. Oh, and yes, so grabbing the dogs, that gets you points or experience. So actually, here's the thing. You only have as many hearts as you start the level with. And the hearts can go up if you save the dogs. Then if you bring them to the end of the level, the dog actually will give you a little sloppy wet dog kiss, and you'll get 1 more heart. So it just gives you a little more health, and that's really it. Did you exploded? Oh no, Lothan says, I did. We'll give it one more round, shall we? Yeah, so the main goal in every level is to get to the exit. There's only one exit, and I don't know what just hit me, so we'll try that again. I've seen you done it before, Mana. Oh, well. David played this the other day. Let's say he had quite the runs. Really, MM? Oh, man. I got to play some more just so I can compete. But yeah, so that's why if you see me going for the pug, that's why I do that. It's a way to get some health, a little extra support. What? Thank you so much, Jam Doggy. Good morning to you as well, my friend. Thank you so much for those 100 bits. How are you doing, the Jam Dog? Jam Doggy is another friend and fellow streamer, awesome guy, and one of our biggest supporters around here. You'll see, like, that was a attempt I made to trigger a trap without, well, you know, getting hurt. So you can look down to kind of think ahead, and then the dog goes in there, and then I'll actually let this play out. See, the dog gives us a kiss, boom, there's a heart, and now in this next level we have 5 hearts as opposed to the 4 that you start with. So, hey, that's right, Marshall. Thank you for that shout out. Well, maybe if Dash Magnum is here and not too sleepy, or Scooter. We could get a shout-out, a proper shout-out for Jam Doggy there. Well, that didn't go well, so this is part of this game here. Now, there are some sections here, like this, where you can actually sacrifice the pug, and I'll show you that in a moment. This is actually a pretty decent setup for it. So just, oops! Oh, darn! Oh, but now we have a compass, and that compass actually points us towards the exit. And that way we don't have to second guess all the time. Let's grab that. And oh, no. Okay. Please feel free to message me with your availability, Art of Mana, so we can catch up specifically with Editor of Mana stuff. That sounds good. Also, I'm curious, did you ever put out your part 2 of our video? Do you have a lot of successful clears of the game? Maddie, I have not cleared this one at all. I've cleared the first game about 4 times. I think 4 times. And I've played it a lot. This is on Steam, although it also came out for PS4, and I'm hoping that both the original and this game will come out for the Switch. It's been rumored to come out for the Switch, and I think it's an excellent game for that platform. Wait, we're doing so poorly, we can just do another run here. Today, I'm kind of just going for like quick runs, just getting familiar with the game. Like I said, I haven't really played it that much since I got it. I got it the day it came out, but that was the last that I played it. And so the first game I put a lot of hours into outside of streaming, and I'll probably end up doing that with this one too at some point, but I just, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing lately, so. Memory Martin, we actually didn't do an Animal Crossing stream Saturday night for a few different reasons, but yeah, no Animal Crossing stream, unfortunately. This week, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do Saturday. I don't know. I'm thinking about changing my schedule at some point. So that was terrible. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up. That was all right. Maddie's going to take off. Maddie, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for hanging out with us. Marshall and Brutal B, thank you so much as well. Just really lovely to meet some new people and hang out with you all. We're going to do a snap of the old fingers and go to our ending screen. So 3, 2, and 1. It worked. So we'll wrap things up. I don't know who's streaming, but we'll take a quick peek. I am a member of a stream team called Family Friendly Live. A lot of great people on there. And we might go and see if there's someone who is live right now that we can go ahead and follow. Or raid, I should say. Carrying this excellent raid hype going forward. Let's take a look, and familyfriendly.live is the website if you want to check out more about us. Spikes Live, MM says. Oh, okay. Let's take a peek here, see what is up. We've got music by Styx and Mad Spike. Mad Spike with a nice looking ghost avatar. I hadn't noticed that until just now. That's pretty cool. They're playing some Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's always good. Let's take one more look as well at my Twitch followers page and see who I'm following and who might be available. Oops, I'm maxing out the CPU. That's my bad. There we go. Doing too much there. Who is on here? Let's take a peek. Hey, Scooter says, amazing stream. Thank you so much. Oh. Dash Magnum just banned Maddie. No. Dash. What? Dash? Did you mean to do that? Unban? Should I do you need to send me something? Dash Magnum? Did I miss something? Dash Magnum? What? Dash? What just happened? Do I need to unban? Maddie? What? Dash says, what happened? It says that you banned Maddie. Maddie LA87. Did you intend to do that? Yes, I guess. I'm so confused. Do you? Okay. I'm gonna check. Oh no, I don't know what happened. Could you send me a quick? That shouldn't have happened. Okay, unban Maddie LA. Okay, I'm so sorry, Maddie, you're back. Maddie, if you're still here, I don't even know. Does that remove Maddie from being a follower? I actually don't know. That's a question that I'm not sure. Let's look it up real quick. Let's learn together. Does banning on Twitch remove a follow? Let's find out. Blocking users now removes them from your followers list. Channel banning users will remove them from your chat list so you don't have to see them anymore. Oh, so blocking is what you would do. Banning doesn't remove them as a follower, which is good. So they'll be able to see us next time. So sorry about that, Maddie. Oh, dear. Hey, and Marshall, thank you so much. Marshall! Thank you so much for the shout out on Twitch. I really do, or on Twitter. I do appreciate that. I just saw that right now. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, I guess it was a misclick. You're on mobile tonight. Something must have gone wrong, Dash says. Fair enough. It's all okay. Good thing we got that sorted. I was starting to feel bad, like maybe I missed something there. Let's take a look. We've got a whole bunch of stuff here. Dear, oh dear, who to raid? Who to raid? You know, we also have One Up John playing Burning Rangers on the Sega Saturn, and we rarely ever get to raid One Up John. That'd be cool too. Gosh, I don't know. MM says, "Oh, I paid off my last home loan, and your clay moved to my island." That's what I wanted to say before. Oh, nice, Memory Martin. Clay moved to your island. That's awesome. Yay! I liked Clay. Kind of miss Clay. Clay was a good guy. Let's say, how do you feel, everybody? So, One Up John is playing Burning Rangers on the Sega Saturn under the retro tag. We also have John Paul O'Keefe playing Super Mario Maker 2, Mad Spike underscore playing some Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Those are my top 3 here. What do you think? Now we're even in terms of replacing villagers, MM says. Yep, I guess that's true. I like the little dog bark in the background from time to time. So in terms of people, it's One Up John, John Paul O'Keefe, or Mad Spike underscore. Or in terms of games, it is Retro, some Sega Saturn goodness, Super Mario Maker 2, or Ori and the Will of the Wisps. What do you feel like tonight, everybody? Anything in particular? In the meantime, just a reminder, if you enjoy what you see here, if you came by the raid, if you liked hanging out with us, thank you so much. Please do consider a follow and joining us. I'd love to have you return and get to know you more. It was really awesome to get to know a couple of friends of Memory Martin's just kind of out of the blue. That was super cool. So definitely appreciating that. So thank you for Hexlin refollowing, Maddie Lady 7, Marshall, and Brutal B 3 for following tonight. That was awesome. Thank you for the 100 bits to Jam Doggy. I really appreciate that as well. And I think what we're gonna do. Let's do one up John. Yeah, we're gonna raid One Up John. I haven't done that in a long time. Let's do it. So raid One Up John, and I think that'll be fun. So, and we got that up and going. And what else? I think that's about it. So everybody, I'm gonna try to figure out what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what my plan is for Saturday or coming up. I don't really know, but I really am looking forward to growing alongside all of you. This year ahead is going to be awesome. I know we're going to be playing a lot of Zelda. I'm looking forward to that. And things are just, they're steadily, slowly but surely improving in good ways. So I'm really looking forward to getting this opportunity. I'm also... hopefully I get this new job that I just applied for. Maybe it will work into an excellent opportunity to spend more time in streams. I really hope it does because I enjoy this so much. It was really great spending time with you tonight. As always, do good and be well. I'll catch you next time. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.